Alright, I'm gonna review the Sea Stallion in like 2 minutes. Don't mind that crash over there. Alright, so basically, the Sea Stallion is like a Chinook, but it has a few less seats. But when you compare the Sea Stallion to the Blackhawk and the NH-90, there's a big difference in that the Sea Stallion is a bit faster and has way more armor. And another thing to keep in mind is that if you want to compare the Sea Stallion to the Blackhawk, well, obviously the Sea Stallion's got a lot more seats and speed and armor. But if you compare it to the NH-90, you'll think like, wait, NH-90, it's got more seats. Why would I ever use that? Well, you see, the problem is when you arm the NH-90 with guns, you lose some seats. Oh, and it's still slower and has less armor. But if you were to go to the Sea Stallion and give it guns, well, now you have more seats, more armor, and more speed. Now, spawning this thing in, the only glaringly obvious downside to this vehicle is you can't get into any of the pilot seats from the outside. What you're going to have to do is, you can actually hop into the guns like that if you have the turret seats, and then just hop in to here, like that. Yeah, it's got a two-piece on that. And you have a lot of inside seats, just like Chinook, but a little difference between the Chinook and the Sea Stallion is the guns. So instead of having an M240 with multiple different belts, this is just one big belt, and you can't stack the ammo on it. But at least the single magazine it gets is a lot bigger, and it does shoot a bit faster, I believe. Generally speaking, you will have a little bit less ammo compared to the Chinook, but I think this is probably good enough to deal with whatever the heck you're trying to shoot at. And it does not die after shooting it 600 times. I think you might need to stop shooting at it and run away. But yeah, this helicopter is overall just very good, very solid. It's got, you know, the large storage space as all helicopters do. And you got those little wheels on the bottom that can turn, just like the, you know, the more advanced helis, like the NH-90. You can use those to help you taxi a little bit, but honestly, it's not really too worth it. Now, it does fly a little bit like a sack of potatoes. Like, it doesn't turn nearly as fast as the Little Bird would. However, it still does have that very high top speed, which is, like, pretty important for traveling. So yeah, the main downsides are it's a little bit harder to get into the pilot seat, and it handles not amazingly, but that extra armor will just save you from the bad handling for the most part. Just keep this fella away from like the SAMs and stuff, because there's no way you're dodging it that easily. But yeah, that's all there is to the little Sea Stallion. It's a pretty awesome helicopter, and the level requirement compared to the Blackhawk and NH-90 are a lot lower as well. Granted, it is still pretty expensive. So I would strongly recommend getting this, especially if you're playing with friends. Although, if you just want a helicopter for personal use, you know, and keep yourself out of danger, you should probably just stick to the Little Bird or one of the more advanced helicopters. Because this is very good, like, you know, team helicopter. I would see a lot of factions using this, but quite frankly, if you're like just doing it solo and just playing with your buddy, this is very good if you want to work with a team. Not as good if you want to work with a bunch of other people though, but I would recommend it. It's good.